Hi everyone, Demon Arisen here, and I'm back with episode 4 of How to Make Great Test Chambers. Last episode I taught you how to come up with a good idea for a puzzle, and now I'm going to teach you how to take that idea and expand it into a fun and challenging test chamber. As I've said before, the first thing to do when designing a puzzle is to come up with a central concept, an idea on which your puzzle will focus. It could be a specific test element or combination of elements such as a laser and light bridge, or it could be a certain mechanic such as momentum. Feel free to go back and watch episode 3 if you want to know more. Once you have a central concept in mind, it's time to take that idea and build a puzzle around it. But how do you actually do that? Well, it's no easy task, and it's not very easy to explain it either. The actual process of designing a level often varies from person to person, so I can't guarantee that the steps outlined in this video will work for you. But I'll do my best to explain how I do it. Designing a puzzle is a similar process to solving a puzzle. Before you start planning things out logically, you first need to explore and experiment. Trial and error is, at least in my experience, crucial to puzzle design. You're almost never going to start making a test with a concrete plan in mind for the entire level. First, you need to explore your options and experiment with various possibilities. Just play around and have fun. I think the best way to show this is with an example. Here we have a central concept in which a faith plate intersects a funnel. It's a nice idea, but it's not actually a puzzle yet. To turn it into a puzzle, we need to explore and experiment, and in doing so, we will expand upon the concept. How do we do that? Well, we need to think about all the puzzle possibilities this concept allows for. What do these test elements do? How do they interact with portals? How do they interact with each other? How could we combine these major elements with minor elements such as cubes, buttons and fizzlers? So let's consider all the things we could do with this particular setup. Currently, the faith plate's only purpose is to fling the player into the funnel. So let's give it some more to do by making the funnel toggleable. Now, when the funnel is turned off, the faith plate can be used to fling. However, this also means that as long as the faith plate's trajectory is clear, the funnel can't be used since it's turned off. That means the player can effectively use only one of the two elements at a time, presenting an interesting challenge. Already we've given this concept a lot of puzzle potential, just by adding a single button. Imagine what we could do if we continue to explore and experiment. So let's do that. If there's a button to turn the funnel on, there should probably be a cube somewhere in the level as well. Without a cube, the button needs to be stood on by the player in order to activate the funnel, meaning the player can't ride in the funnel themselves, but they can still use the funnel to transport objects. Let's use that to our advantage. In order to acquire the cube, the player needs to use the faith plate to fling up to a button, and then activate the funnel and use it to retrieve the cube. As you can see, things are starting to get a little more puzzling. Once the player has the cube, they can ride in the funnel, so let's use that to create the next step of the solution. How about we create a high platform which is only accessible by funnel? Notice how altering the level's geometry could improve the puzzle significantly. It's much more elegant and clever to add steps to the puzzle by making interesting changes to the layout of the level itself, rather than cluttering the test with too many test elements. With that in mind, rather than adding another button or cube up on this platform, we should use the level's layout to our advantage. We can combine clever use of geometry with a fizzler here to ensure that the player has to be on this platform in order to see this crucial portal surface, which allows them to funnel a cube onto a wall-mounted button. And how about we make that button open a fizzler, behind which is a panel we can fling through using the faith plate to get to the exit. Finally, let's connect the exit to a button so the player needs to bring the cube with them to leave the chamber, and there you have it. By exploring and experimenting with different possibilities, we've fleshed out a basic idea into an actual puzzle. And you can play this puzzle yourself using the Steam Workshop link in the description of this video. Admittedly, it is quite a straightforward level, but that's alright. Not every puzzle has to be difficult, and we can always elaborate on our creation to make something harder later on. The great thing about this process of exploration and experimentation is that it never quite goes how you expect. As you're tinkering with different possibilities, you'll stumble upon a eureka moment which will completely change the puzzle. I bet if you gave that same basic concept to a number of different designers, they'd all come up with a completely unique puzzle by the end. You can try it yourself if you like. Take that initial puzzle idea of a faith plate intersecting a funnel, explore and experiment, and try to build a solvable puzzle. I'm sure you'll come up with something awesome, and you'll probably surprise yourself in the process. So that's how to turn a good idea into a good puzzle. All you need to do is play around with different possibilities. Remember to think about what your major elements can do, and how they can interact with portals, each other, and the player. Then consider how adding minor elements and adjusting the level's geometry could open up even more options. Remember, next time you sit down to make a test chamber, explore and experiment. Every idea is bursting with potential for possible puzzle permutations. All you need to do is unlock that potential. Thank you very much for watching How to Make Great Test Chambers Episode 4. If you have any feedback, questions or insults, let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But for now, this has been Demon Arisen, and until next time, bye bye.